We've undergone a corporate coup d'etat. There is no impediment left now to corporate power, and the corporate state understands that as the economy continues to deteriorate, as the effects of climate change, and we just bore the brunt of that with Hurricane Sandy, over $70 billion worth of damage kicks in, there will be inevitable blowback on a betrayed population. And what's happening in this court now is the last thin line of defense between protecting what is left of our anemic democracy and the imposition of a military state.
These are questions that should be known, and these are questions that should be public. These are questions that should be discussed in Congress. These are questions. In fact, we shouldn't be asking him for drone memos. We should be giving him drone memos. We shouldn't be asking him how he's going to run the drone program. We should be telling him how he's to run the drone program. That is our authority.
And this is a multi-million-dollar system they use to kill people worldwide. And why is it happening? When they passed the NDAA that Ron Paul has called martial law in America here in the U.S. a few weeks ago, when they passed that, it says the whole world, not just the U.S., can have predators over it dropping bombs on them. So it's a declaration of war, an end to posse comitatus, troops on the streets, and says they can kill U.S. citizens, disappear U.S. citizens.
Researchers are conducting some of the most cutting-edge and controversial testing of drone technology. But the publication Homeland Security Today obtained a copy of the test plan for the program, which also says sensor platforms are being tested that can distinguish between an unarmed and armed personnel.
Nelson County, North Dakota's Sheriff Kelly Yonke went looking for 6 missing cattle on a Brossard family farm, but 3 armed Brossard brothers chased him away. Yonke called the Highway Patrol, a SWAT team, a bomb squad, and a Predator drone operated by U.S. Customs and Border Protection. The drone was used to surveil the property until the Brossard brothers were observed to be unarmed. Then the SWAT team moved in to make the arrests.
I saw the CNET news article just a few days ago where they openly reported that Homeland Security has programmed the Predator and Reaper drones and others for domestic operations and to read American license plates and to track gun owners and to even identify gun owners with guns under their clothing.
There is no honor in this! There is no honor in this! None! None! There is no honor in this! You can laugh all you want, but it takes a coward to hurt an unarmed civilian! There is no honor in that!
I think that this is a mess. It's a mess because we have a bad foreign policy. We're pretending we're at war. We haven't declared the war, but we're at war against a tactic, and therefore there's no limits to it. So we create these monstrosities, and we do things outside the law. We come up with assassinations, allowing the president to decide who's going to be assassinated. And lo and behold, 3 Americans now have been on the list. They've been assassinated, but they don't talk about the second one because the second one happened to be a 16-year-old son of a Lockheed. So what are we doing here to accept this idea that our president is in this lawlessness to pursue and that we someday will be subject to those same courts? So no, you don't. You want to live in the law and obey the law, because otherwise it's going to be very bad for all of us. And this whole idea that now we can be assassinated by somebody that we don't even like to run our medical care, and giving this power to the president to be the prosecutor, the executor, the judge, and the jury, we better look at that carefully before you automatically endorse something like that.
Congressman, thank you very much.
About 200 miles north of Sacramento, California, lies a town with a population of roughly 90,000 people. This is our town, Redding. The FAA made it clear that they need to establish 6 testing sites for unmanned aircraft systems. Ventura County Airport, being one of these test sites, offered a letter of intent to merge their drone test site with the Redding Municipal Airport. This will set up a drone corridor from Ventura County in Southern California to Shasta County in Northern California. This will effectively allow systematic surveillance of all of California. On April 2nd, 2013, there was a City of Redding Council meeting where the Director of Airports made an argument for the necessity of drones. In the end, the council voted 2 for and 2 against. Councilmember Missy MacArthur was not present due to illness, so the decision was made to have a tiebreaker vote in the next council meeting on April 16, 2013. In Henry Longfellow's famous poem entitled Paul Revere's Ride, Revere said, "If the British march by land or sea from the town to night, hang a lantern aloft the belfry arch of the northern church tower as a signal light, 1 if by land and 2 if by sea. And I on the opposite shore will be ready to ride and spread the alarm through every Middlesex village and farm, for the country folk to be up and to arm." Just as Paul Revere warned people of the coming tyranny, our film crew is going to make an effort to warn people in our community of the testing of drones at our airports and its potential threat to our citizens' rights. To do this, we will make flyers that will tell people to come to the council meeting on April 16th and to learn more about what is happening in America. It is our right as citizens to be informed and inform others.
Whitney, what are you doing?
I'm gonna inform people about the drone meeting tonight.
Cool deal. So you're just passing them out on cars?
Yeah, trying to inform people. Hopefully I get a chance to talk to someone.
Right on.
And inform someone. Hello, ma'am. Are you informed about the drone meeting today?
The what meeting? Oh, the drone? Yeah. Yeah.
You know there's a drone meeting at the city council tonight?
Oh yeah?
Yeah, there.
If you go there, that you could actually talk to the council members and you can talk to everyone, basically give your opinion about drones in Redding. Do you know anything about drones?
Yeah, I fly with them on Black Ops and I'm playing the video game.
They're trying to test drones in Redding, and we're really against that because it infringes on our Second Amendment right and our right to privacy.
Well, look, I'm not like a criminal, but that's what they say I am.
Right.
Well, yeah.
No, exactly, and they're making people criminals over petty charges and.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's what we're all about, anyways. And
the feds are going to use these.
Yeah, the feds are
and
going to
the cops.
use them. And the cops are going to use them, and basically they can see if you have your gun or not. So like if you are trying to protect yourself from a cop invading on your property and your gun, they can put a drone.
They've been shooting people down here lately.
Yeah, that's true.
Can we shoot the cops?
Did you say that one more time, sir?
What?
What about the Constitution?
I don't think it's constitutional to spy on citizens of the United States.
And neither
I'm
do
an
we.
ex-police officer, and I'll tell you, even the red light cameras, I don't think
Right.
they don't work.
And they're unconstitutional.
I believe they are. Yes.
News person, they think they're a news person. False news.
you agree with drones in Reading?
There are a lot of things I don't agree about. As far as finding security risks and stuff like that, killing people without due process, I don't get along with. They're going to do it whether we know it or not. Actually telling us they're going to send drones out is just another way of saying, hey, Big Brother's watching. And as far as I'm concerned, they probably got plenty of other ways of watching us. Probably cameras in the damn trees.
So, a drone is an unmanned vehicle. Basically, they use them in places like Iraq, Yemen, Afghanistan to assassinate people. You guys know anything about drones? There's a drone council meeting tonight at 6 p.m. and it is going to be a tie-breaking vote on whether or not there should or shouldn't be drones tested in the Reading Municipal Airport. They can use these drones.
And we're actually hoping that people will show up tonight because this is your local way to combat it. You know, there's not much we can do about President Obama and what he does, but we can go to our city council members and tell them we don't want drones in our town.
Yeah, doesn't sound like a good thing at all. Kind of sounds like well, maybe it was a little more important back then, but the communist threat. Everybody was a communist.
Drones? Come on, I like drones. You like drones?
Yeah. But basically they're...
So you want me to say no to drones? I won't lie.
You love them?
Yeah, I love them. They're great.
Hey, do you know anything about the drone council meeting?
What?
Do you know anything about the drone council meeting? Tonight there is a meeting at the Reading Council Chambers, and they are going to be voting on whether or not they want drones.
Do you know about the drone meeting tonight? Well, there's a meeting tonight about trying to get the drones out of Reading because they want to test drones in Reading. You know what a drone is, right? Yeah, so they're trying to do that so you can have the chance to say no or yes, I won't go there, but...
Are there people who would say yes, I want?
Like they said, we're both wide awake. All three of us, dude. We're fucking, and I don't know if you know, dude, but go ahead and check out what happened yesterday with the Boston bullshit.
Yeah, that's what we did.
Dude, that is a fucking inside job if I've ever heard it.
These drones, and that's why I'm opposed to it. You want to change my mind? Start arresting and prosecuting those that are violating the law within the system. Because the law only applies to us if it applies to them. They're not our masters. That's right. And there's a concerted effort right now to flip that paradigm to where you submit to the government or they will destroy you. Any subject you talk about, you look at that. Anybody that protests anything is considered a terrorist because they don't want you uniting. That's why they're demonizing veterans. That's why they're demonizing anybody that will stand up.
But we do need to make it free all around. We need to stop the drones over in the Middle East also.
Hey,
we are
definitely.
violating those people's rights, and if we go around violating other people's rights, then that will happen to us.
Right.
So we need to not only stand up for drones here, but we need to stand up for drones there.
Definitely.
Everywhere.
Yep.
We need to stop.
Part of the main drivers of what's happening to us with terrorism is we've been killing them incessantly for the last decade.
If they hate us, it's our own fault.
They hate us to begin with.
It's called blowback.
Right. That's the problem. And these people who keep pushing the wars at every single opportunity, there's no point in it. If we were in Iraq to win, we would have won and been done. The same thing with Afghanistan. World War II only lasted 6 years, but yet they just want to keep going.
But everyone's a false flag too, proven over time.
Right, exactly.
Well, see, that's the thing that pisses me off too, because if the FBI comes out and convinces you to join them to do something that you wouldn't have done to begin with or been intelligent enough to figure it out to begin with, it's just entrapment.
Yeah, and then, see, people need to be aware because the people were there at the bombing yesterday, okay? And those people had video cameras, all that crap, right? Who got it? The FBI. They said, oh, well, let us build an investigation. Give us your phones. No, they were destroying evidence. Yeah, what they were doing.
Sure.
And people need to wake up to this so they question authority.
Right.
Well, yeah, no matter what you guys do, and I'm glad to see some young folks.
Oh yeah,
you know what?
We need to get you guys.
Well, no, the Tea Party are just trying to get back to the Constitution, because if you look at what's going on, these illegal wars, the surveillance state, all that goes away if the Constitution's being followed, because they don't have any right.
Well, here's another one though. Here's another thing, dude. You guys understand how deep it goes. It really is only a mind game, because so many people put so much on the Bible or the Constitution, but really what gave that either one of those documents power was because we believed in them. Now these guys have gotten in our mind and made it to where we don't even believe that we have that power anymore.
There you go.
When you hear people saying, oh, you know, they took our rights, I say, no, they didn't. When they say, oh, NDAA, you don't have the right to a trial, I say, yeah, I do. They might not give it to me. They might not. But if my neighbors all believe that I have the right to, you know what? They're going to come out of their houses and they're going to be like, no, he has rights. Leave him alone. We have a Constitution. We have to believe that we have those rights. Don't let them get in your head and tell you you don't.
That's right.
It's human rights.
And that's why they're so after the people who are filming the cops. That's why that's
they take
what's going on there, because
Definitely.
they don't want to be held accountable. They don't want to work for us anymore. The bureaucracy is taken over.
They've clearly violated every one of our rights.
Do you think that it's gotten to a point of no return? Like it can't go back to how it was?
I'll say this right now. You know what it comes down to? It comes down, like I said, we're in our early 30s. It comes down to all of us right here. Our generation needs to. The Tea Party, they're trying. And I've been taught, I'm not a Tea Partier. I just started coming, because of these issues. But they don't really know what's going on. And there's a few of them that are awake, okay? A few of the older ones that know as much as we do. But anytime, you want to tell another one, they're like, oh, no, he's not ready for that yet. No, he's not ready. They're not there yet. You know what I mean? They're just now learning about geoengineering. They haven't even scratched on 9/11 or any of the other bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I want to jump in here.
So we need to, without hurting their feelings, but I mean, we need to get education from them, and they need education from us. You see what I'm saying? My 11-year-old can teach me how to use an iPod where I can't. I can sit there and play with it all day, try to figure it out, or I could be like, no, here, show me. Same thing. They know things we don't. We lost the ability to be self-sufficient. They know how to farm and can and food, and that's what we need to get away from is being so dependent on these grocery stores and these corporations. And we need to get back learning from our elders how it used to be done. In the same sense, we need to give them a little bit of heads up of what's coming, because they always say, well, they're not ready. Well, you know what? They better get ready.
They better
because
get
it's
ready.
Here.
Our organization began in 2007 specifically to be proactive in the process of bringing economic sustainability to the Shasta County area. We believe the City of Reading is in the midst of a tremendous opportunity for a partnership with Ventura County that will provide us with exactly what we have been seeking for many years. Bring high-paying, high-tech manufacturing and other jobs to Reading. Reading offers exceptional testing capabilities in multiple terrain and climatic conditions as an extension to a Ventura-based program. Ventura brings a great deal of military and political strength necessary if we're going to be selected in California by the FAA. If you choose to participate, local economic benefits would include immediate jobs created in the support and service industries to provide hotel rooms, food, fuel, all of those types of things to the test teams coming to Reading from Ventura. The possibility of high-tech aircraft engineering companies being drawn to Reading to see what we have to offer as a high-tech manufacturing facility or location. This could also help attract spin-off businesses and startups for the needed services in support of the manufacturers.
Jobs. 17,000 jobs over 10 years. That's 1,700 jobs a year. In California, there's 40 million people. How many jobs is that? We get 2. Where's the private sector? Search and rescue. Seems to me like the government has most of it. And being a businessman, We all know that if 80% of your business is done by one customer, you don't have a customer, you have a partner. And what you have in this is a partner with the United States government. And at this point, there is a little bit of mistrust going on. So in a lot of cases, as we look at things, 179 people stood at Anselmo's. They saw a drone come overhead. Not one person was excited about that. We had talked to 239 people Monday night, 2 weeks ago. Every person in that room was against drones in this particular present format you have chosen.
What I want to know is, do you intend on keeping your oath to the Constitution? When you swore your oath, when you entered office, you swore to uphold and protect the Constitution of the United States, and in doing so, you directly represent us. From what I have seen in the time that I've been living in this city, you don't care what we say. You don't care what we think. And you smirk when I say that, but it's entirely true. You don't care. Because we come filling this room in opposition to various actions, and all I can see is contempt. Either you represent the people or you don't. That's the bottom line. That's the line that cannot be crossed. If you ever want to be elected to anything above janitor, what do you expect? We live in a representative republic, not a roving dictatorship where a few can decide we're just going to act on our own. And last meeting, Mr. Bassetti, paraphrasing, you more or less said that it was a foregone conclusion that we were going to have these drones, and it's going to happen, it's the future, that's what it's going to be, and we might as well just give up. Well, we have civil liberties, and these are not privileges that can be taken away by the government. These are rights given to us by our Creator, as is the intention of the Constitution and Bill of Rights. You swore an oath to uphold the Constitution, and if you cannot keep it, then you have no more right to be in that chair than a stray dog.
Mayor, council members, and audience, thank you. Technology is somewhat inevitable, and certainly there may be some benefits to drones, but what is the risk-to-benefit ratio in this particular case? I'm reminded of the comments of Nancy Pelosi when it came to the health care issue about you have to pass it to find out what's in it. I think that's absolutely backwards, convoluted. That is not what we learned in our history classes and what the Constitution stands for. We're contemplating violating the Fourth Amendment in this. Plus, in addition to that, this is supposedly about economics and jobs. Well, we will probably lose jobs as a result of this. If this runs its course, aerial firefighting may very well be displaced by drones. Law enforcement might be displaced by drones.
And that's why I'm against it. I don't want Reading to become what London was on the book of Orwell's 1984. It kind of scares me.
Good evening. Since the last time I was here, I did some homework on the drones, and I found out that there's only one state in the nation, Arizona, that actually has laws on the books regarding drones. Virginia has recently enacted the first drone bill that imposes a 2-year moratorium on law enforcement use of drones, and that is in order to give them time to put legal protections for domestic drone use in place. Idaho prohibits law enforcement from using the drones without probable cause and getting a warrant first. A Tennessee bill requires a warrant also. In Seattle, the mayor canceled a drone program amid heated controversy in his city. In Florida, a drone bill prohibits the use above the state entirely, except when the Department of Homeland Security determines there's a high-risk terrorist attack. There's no laws in place to govern the use of these drones. That's the problem we have with it. Closer to home in San Francisco, they completely rejected the use of drones. And in Alameda County, there's a group called Alameda County Against Drones, and they've teamed up with the ACLU and voiced concerns over what they viewed as flimsy privacy protections. Drones would open up the gates towards aerial surveillance and runaway data collection. Linda Lai of the ACLU, she's an attorney with them, stated that data collected in the name of search and rescue could be retained for intelligence gathering and analysis. This would lead to the submission of collected data to the California Regional Intelligence Center. I didn't even know that a place existed like that. It's also called the Fusion Center, where data collected about constitutionally protected activity is stockpiled and analyzed in the name of so-called terrorist protection. This is very concerning to those of us who the Department of Homeland Security thinks are domestic terrorists. You know, those of us who read the Bible, fly our flag, and who served in the military. Who will be in charge of monitoring these drones? Will it be the military? Will it be the Department of Homeland Security? Will it be our police or our sheriffs? They're already stretched thin. What will happen if violations occur? What will be the consequences? We don't know any of the answers to these questions.
Thank you. God bless you guys, really. God be with you. These drones can be used to do harm to the people of the city and the county. And anyway, I pray that you love these people, that you won't know on the drones, because the drones can be used to harm them. In Jesus' name I pray. Thank you.
Please seriously consider your position on the joint venture with Ventura County regarding the drone project. We are concerned about the privacy of Reading citizens as well as people in the surrounding areas. We are disappointed that the City of Reading would consider bringing this potentially invasive device into our community under the guise of delivering much-needed jobs. Please identify how many total jobs will be created. We have been told 2 jobs would be created the first year. Would these be local hires or imported? Exactly what type of manufacturing jobs and anticipated number of jobs will be created to lure college grads back to the Reading area? What level of security clearance will be required by applicants for jobs in the drone program? Have you anticipated the effect of drones on property values, especially in homes near the Reading Airport? To ensure privacy, homeowners normally construct fences and plant shrubbery, but do not intend to construct a canopy over their property.
Last month, after a 13-hour filibuster, Rand Paul said Senator McCain and Senator Graham were on the wrong side of history when it came to these drones. And I hope that the city of Reading is not also on that wrong side of history. 10 years ago, I was driving the long road from Kuwait to Baghdad, and I worked in a place that became known as the Sunni Triangle. I served my country, and I believe the job that I was doing was to make sure that the terrorists did not win. I'm here today because placing drones in our skies is doing exactly what the terrorists want. Today, our country is under more surveillance than the nation I was sent to liberate. So if you take a look around, ask yourself, if we allow drones in our airspace, if we keep sacrificing our First Amendments, our Second Amendments, our Fourth Amendment rights for the sake of making a quick dollar, what's winning here? It's not the American people, okay? So I fought for the liberties of every single person in this room, and I expect my city council to do the same and not to vote for drones to be flying over the city of Reading or any city in this country.
There was a gentleman that used the term corporate citizen. There is no such thing. Let's get this clear. There are only citizens, and that's us, the people, all of us. There are no corporate citizens. My point about this is so often council and staff are swayed by business interests, which basically are special interests. And this is something that we really need to think about. The use of drones, we know what the use of drones is. The use of drones is surveillance and search and destroy or kill. That's what they've been used for in the world so far. And we know our federal government is behind that on more levels than one. We also know that the National Defense Authorization Act allows President Obama not to kill, but to detain without any kind of due process, which eliminates the Fourth Amendment entirely, within the United States or without, which is a complete disregard for law, international law, and American constitutional law. And in this case, drones used for surveillance or law enforcement would be against California state law, which provides for privacy. So we need to really think about this. Why open the door to technology that is most likely, Mr. Ginger did a nice sales job, but most of that was nonsense, because the actual use in most of those applications will probably never come about, because a guy in a Cessna can do a much better job than a drone operator, some guy in a room, for firefighting. I mean, most of this is just hype. So I hope you consider that. I hope you realize that the biggest percentage of citizens, and not just Tea Party people or libertarians, anybody that cares about our supposed unalienable rights, doesn't want to have this door opened.
You know, we've got congressmen that are writing letters to the Department of Homeland Security about $1.6 billion worth of hollow point bullets being purchased, with no explanation or answer from them why. And we're expected to trust our government with a drone program here? You know, I mean, I'm all for jobs and I'm all for growth, but I'm also all for transparency in the government. And is there any restrictions if they decide to misuse this power?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, members of the council. My name is Lydia Reed. I'm a concerned citizen, wife, mother, grandmother. I'm sure you'll agree that we live in a high-tech and invasive society already. Do we really need drones in Reading to increase our invasion of privacy? Drones are an instrument of surveillance and war. Why do we need to build them in Reading?
Where else are we going to go? If we lose liberty here, where are we going to find it? Because we're not going to find it in socialist Europe or a communist China. We're not going to have it anywhere. This is the last stand on earth. There is nowhere else to go. If we give up our liberty, we might as well just kill ourselves right now. Because liberty is the only thing we have. That is it. That is the single thing of tangible worth on this earth. Civil liberty or death. If we do not have liberty, we have bondage.
I had to ask for Public Record Act for that, just so I could get a copy. I think it's pretty sad that you're not in control of your staff. You're not in control. You're not above the law. You need to be accountable for your actions. Mr. Mayor, if you vote and Missy votes and Francie votes by tonight, I will make sure that we put a petition to recall you, remove you from office. These people are here, and for you to be rude, and they're fighting for their rights, and for you to turn around and think that we need to be be calm. We can't be calm. The world's falling apart, and now you want to come in and take our rights and violate our Constitution? You're starting war here. I will help them. My number is 276-5378. By end of this meeting, if you don't vote the opposite, you will be removed from office. Thank you.
Well, we're out of blue cards. Does anyone else wish to come forward at this time? All right, well, seeing that, then we'll close the public hearing. And we'll bring it. He's your guy. You want one right here? We have a new speaker? He's good. Well, I think we've heard your point of view 4 or 5 times tonight, and our part of view. So it's now closed. We'll bring it back to council here for discussion.
The 2 military operating areas, one to the east and one to the southwest of the Reading Airport, most likely would not be utilized if Reading were not part of the LOI or part of the overall application. There would be really no need for them to try to bring the aircraft all the way up here. They would probably try to utilize other military operating areas with their other partner communities. So I hopefully that answers your question.
It does kind of. I had the impression that people here think we can stop the drones from coming here if we don't allow ourselves to be listed.
Excuse me, please. The conversation is taking place here, but this is...
Privacy is a big deal. And, we're all about having our own house and having our rights to privacy that are inviolate. So we want to protect those rights. But these drones are here. Let's be part of the solution to see how they're going to be used. And just FYI, the reality is, I know that there's a very vocal group here, and there's another partial group here. But I can tell you that I'm getting 3 to 1, not with the most vocal group, in terms of contacts at home, phones, emails, and stuff. So I know that it looks like it's really slanted to anti-drone, but I got to tell you, those aren't all the calls and emails I'm getting. I mean, I get your guys's too, but that just FYI.
Excuse me, please. You were here and you had a couple hours to state your piece and no one yelled at you.
We have many unanswered questions that will only lead the residents of our town to be more fearful down the road. We have time in this. It's not going anywhere. If we truly have something unique to offer with the use of these machines, it will still be here in a year from now. It does not have to be done today. I know a manufacturer of drones, and he too understands. He's been around the world, and he sees the concerns with the public and understands them, and he manufactures them. And they're real concerns. They're real issues that need to be dealt with. We have not dealt with those concerns and eliminated the concerns with the public. So therefore, I will not support the MOU.
I am going to abstain from a vote on this issue. And the reason I'm going to abstain is I'm not saying yes because I really don't like it, but I'm not saying no because I think maybe we need to have a voice in what's going on with this. So I'm going to abstain from voting on this issue.
This legislation that was signed into by the Congress was the first step. And actually in the amendments to the document itself, it talks about what their program requirements are for people to do this sort of thing. And privacy is in there, establishing the privacy rules and regulations that need to be established. Safely designate airspace for integrated manned and unmanned flight operations in the national airspace is the number one thing. How are these going to work together with the manned? Address both civil and public unmanned aircraft systems. ensure that the program is coordinated with the next generation air transportation system. And so as we're evolving here, that's what this is. This isn't blindly walking into a room and everything's already been set in stone and you've lost all your liberties and your freedoms. What this does do, though, is I know you don't trust any government at all, and you're entitled to that. But we work within the government frame here. All those in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Opposed. We have one abstention. So the motion will pass 3-2, with the ayes being Sullivan, MacArthur, and Bassetti, the no being Jones, and we have one abstention being Councilmember Catt. Thank you. Item 9.3C.
Anyone want to voice their opinion?
Yeah, they haven't heard the end of it yet.
Yeah.
My opinion is that they are traitors. They need to be removed. Now we need to recall them. They have violated the U.S. Constitution, the California Constitution, and our civil rights. They are traitors.
Thank you.
They don't listen. They're working with Homeland Security. The CIA is part of it. And you know what? Years from now, I hope you videotaped all those people on City Council because they are selling your rights out, whoever is listening to them.
Thank you.
They loaded the Jews into them, took them to concentration camp. I don't know when they built the cattle cars, but it was a good idea.
Yeah, that's how they present it.
It's a fantastic idea.
Thanks. Check out InfoWars.com, and anybody has Google, look up JFK, a speech he gave in April of 1961 when he warned the public all about what was coming. It's about 5 minutes and 34 seconds long. Trust me, take a look at that. Everything he said is happening now.
Well, this is for InfoWars.com. This right here is for the Paul Revere contest that Alex Jones is having off right now.
Alex Jones is a man. God bless you, Alex, if it ever gets to you.
Okay.
We love you, Alex.
Yes.
Hey, you want to voice your opinion now, or?
It's the young that will save us, who protest and vocalize their opposition to government surveillance. We're becoming a Nazi state.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
More or less, these people are supposed to represent us. And this was not an issue about drones. This was an issue about civil liberty. And our representatives don't represent us. They have made it plain and clear that when we come out here and we make our voices known, that we do not matter. They hold us in complete and utter contempt. We, the people, are not worth a bag of dung to these people. And these people, they need to be recalled. And more than that, they need to have criminal charges. This is a color of law abuse, where they pretend to be in our interest, they pretend to abide the law, they pretend to do their job, but they don't. And we have made the case perfectly clear on a legal grounds that this is unconstitutional. This is a flagrant violation of our rights, and they refuse to comply. It was never an issue about drones. It was never about drones from the beginning. So it was only ever that they could be trusted, they were our representatives, and they have failed. The only justice that we can have in this is that they go to prison for a very long time.
I was thinking there's nothing we can do about standing back and just watching. It's kind of sad because all these people come up. Like most of the people here that are really just concerned citizens actually coming up and reading about the agenda and kind of going up and to speak, their voices aren't getting heard. So
Their voices don't matter to these guys, because if you looked here, the EDC, the people that came up pro for it, the Chamber of Commerce represent corporations. And in fact, we know they're one of the biggest providers of cash in the last election, was the Chamber of Commerce.
In Reading?
all over the United States, everywhere. I don't know how much here.
Right.
But the point is, EDC is the Economic Development Corporation, which is under contract to the city and the county to provide them with good business information.
So they're just getting money off of this drone.
It's all about extending corporate power. It's about corporate power. The whole thing is. That's what it's about.
You can even use that. So get around what you're all going to say. Should we write it down? So that you have answer to people's questions so you can lead them on to more. It's a basic thing, remember, okay?
What is your opinion on this? Do you want drones in Reading?
It's a pity that the citizenship of our country is not more informed as to the freedoms that are being taken away continually, not only by the Congress, but by the incumbent president. I do not believe he has the best interest of our country or the citizenship in any way. He seems to delight in dismantling what our forefathers, grandfathers have fought for to make us single and free and independent.
Do you find this to be something that can lead up to maybe like somewhat of a revolution or something that could lead to a military state? Anything big happening from this?
I think that the withdrawal of all of the ammunition available to the populace, insofar as they cannot confiscate all our weapons, is just the beginning. He is dismantling our military. The military forces of this country cannot be used against the citizens. Therefore, I don't put it out of the reach of common reckoning that this incumbent president would use guerrilla warfare against the citizens of this country. But he might not have to. If he weakens us enough, we're going to be the proverbial sitting ducks. It's what happened to Greece. We can't teach history anymore. We can't teach science anymore because 60% of the kids in school cannot read or write English.
This is what it comes down to, right? People need to unite, right? Society needs to be more communal. They need to start standing up and start working together. What we need to destroy is all these class distinctions, all this division. There's too many decisions between people thinking they're better than people because they're less wage earners, or because they have all these prejudices. You know what I'm saying? That's what they do. The society, there's too many prejudices. Like, there shouldn't be so much division. People need to be more united. You know what I'm saying? Because when we have union, then we can actually make a movement. Because it is not the people. It is not these select people that control us. It's us who control us. It is we have the power to change anything. But there's no unity. They create division, so no one wants to rise up against and go make a change. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
What they need to do is it needs to get to a point where there needs to be a revolution. We need to have more. We need to have more people. We need to have more educators. More parents, more fathers, people that's gonna make a better society, because society starts with the children. We feed the next of kin what they need to know, and they're gonna make a better generation for the future generation. So it all lies in our kids. So we feed the kids what they want to know, and then we're gonna have a better generation. We can't try to fix a problem that's already broken. We have to start it from the root, and the only way we can change that is by changing the way our kids are treated.
Happened with what? The other day with those bombs and shit. I mean, what do you guys really think?
Well, we think that might be a false flag operation, maybe.
Yeah, that's what the majority of the people be thinking. You know, that I talk to, they think, there's some, why would shit like that just happen out of nowhere? And why would there be, bomb dogs sitting there searching and sniffing before it even happened?
Well, we're thinking they're using stuff like that. Maybe if that was a false flag, using stuff like that as an excuse for the drones, using drones against us.
Oh yeah, because they're like, okay, they're trying to make us think that we're out of control. That us as a people, they want, like, the way I see it is they want us to think that we're not really capable of.
I think he's gotten a lot more aggressive than the previous administration, from what I've heard, as far as drone strikes and deaths.
Deaths, yeah.
A lot.
So it's like
a lot more aggressive. I mean, like
10
couple
times.
hundredfold.
Yeah.
Like percentage-wise, and I don't know, the collateral damage is, I think, non-excusable, personally. But, you know, I'm somebody who thinks more of it in a humanitarian sense. I really don't think somebody that has a peace prize should be doing that.
Yeah, that's
because they have manpower. They can use their capabilities in other ways, and there have been a lot of innocents that have been harmed. And I don't think that, you know, in the future, perhaps if other countries do the same to us, it would be accepted here.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
We would be really mad.
It's called blowback. What you do somewhere else, eventually somebody's going to strike back. And I don't know, that's just being, it's kind of like karma, isn't it?
It would be like karma.
If you do something bad to somebody's going to eventually come back and it's going to bite you in the ass. I have restrictions. I'm an average person. You know, I'm not somebody who needs to be monitored 24/7. I have never had one traffic ticket in my life.
Yeah.
I have never hurt nobody. I have never
What's that gonna?
thieved from stores or threatened people with guns, or I don't have a gun. I am not involved with any terrorism. I am not somebody who needs to be watched. And I don't think everyone should be suspect to where we have to have that kind of monitorization.
What do you think about the drones coming in and maybe being able to take away our Second Amendment right? Do you want them in Reading, or?
I think that's a horrific intrusion. I think if I don't have the right to shoot sons of bitches down, I don't think they ought to be up there. Somebody else wants to pull for me? Fuck, send up as many as I got rounds, man.
Do you believe Obama is trying to
definitely
take our guns or eradicate the Second Amendment?
He's trying to make a one world order, you know that, right?
Right, exactly. And that's what this is really all about.
Our political system's screwed right now because people that we've hired to be our politicians, our civil servants, have voted themselves all kinds of big money.
Yeah.
Now, politics is big money. It's not civil servant work anymore. Real civil servant works for just about nothing. They used to pull people off welfare rolls saying, you're going to be a civil servant now instead of getting free money. You don't get nothing for being a civil servant except if you can vote yourself lots of money. If we didn't have high-paid politicians, we wouldn't have all the problems we got here.
I agree.
No, but I will say for the firefighting benefits of it, you might displace some jobs because, you know, for lookouts, fire lookouts, so if they say we have a drone flying around, you know, that's jobs lost for the gentlemen that are up on the fire lookouts, right?
Sure.
What else we got?
There's no way. I mean, you get a drone on there, you can put any piece of equipment on a piece of drone.
Exactly. Yeah.
Missiles, bombs. There's no one.
Which you call like crazy. Yeah.
There's no one monitoring.
I think they.
At
Yeah.
all. I mean, if there was a
Where's the
lawyer right
oversight?
next to the
Exactly.
person flying it, saying, you know what, you violated the rights.
That's
If you get stopped, you need to do something about that.
So you guys don't want these in Reading?
No, I
Drones don't belong.
Yes. Yeah.
They don't need to be here.
The guys that fly those what are those Cobra gunship choppers around with the thermal imaging? Those guys are gonna lose their jobs.
That's an old buddy of mine. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
Stan Kubota. He's an ex-jumper. We used to jump together. He flies in front seat of one of those, and they do the infrared. And you know, and that's fine, and that's great, and I think that should continue. But they get the drones out there. He's going to be out of a job. They're going to put a lot of people out of these private contractors to come out, and they do all the flying during the fire seasons for spot fires. You know, they'll get 6-8 hours of flight time in, and that's going to be gone because some guy's going to be sitting in a trailer making this drone do his thing, and you know, that's taking jobs away as far as I'm concerned, especially up here.
Sooner or later, the human aspect might be out of it, and the computer will run the whole thing by itself. And it goes wherever it needs to direct it from, looking for anything at all.
Skynet.
Almost like a red light stop. You don't need the cops anymore. If someone makes a mistake, it gets penalized for it. So no matter what, anything and everything you do ever is tracked, waiting for you to make a mistake, so you get penalized by it. I think that's what drones are all about in the United States of America. Is designed to go over there where there's a war zone to save the troops. That's all it's supposed to be designed for. Get it out and keep it out of the United States of America.
Okay, so
law in Boston, linked up on the Drudge Report, and we've got photos of them aiming guns at men, women, and children for no reason, shoving women around. Now, get out of your house, lady. You look nothing like any suspect. We're just going to do this. This was done all over the place in a giant act of just planting the flag on the good old slaves. This is what martial law looks like. And it shows people in their cars, in their houses, you name it, with men driving around in armored vehicles, pointing M16s at you, and then telling families, get out of your house, families that don't even resemble the supposed suspects.
Yeah, this is our garage right now. What the hell?
Close your window, go back inside your house.
Doing everything they can. The FBI is saying, do not look at anything but what we tell you, because this is desperate damage control.
We are releasing photos of these two suspects. They are identified as Suspect 1 and Suspect 2. They appear to be associated. Suspect 1 is wearing a dark hat. Suspect 2 is wearing a white hat. Suspect 2 set down a backpack at the site of the second explosion, just in front of the Forum restaurant.
What happened is a terrible thing, but I know that my kids have nothing to do with this. I know it. I am mother. I know my kids. I know my kids. My kids would never get involved into anything like that. And so I really, there is no reason. So the first day when I really got this message, I got really worried, and I was kind of telling that it is a setup, and I was just really mad and angry at America, but America has to do something with this, right? It's just somebody did this, somebody set this up, not my kids. Whoever is dead over there, it's not my son. The body is half of the body of my son. You know what I mean? So this is not my son. And then it's his sister told me today that, I mean my daughter told me that she saw on YouTube, so I got really into it. I asked his sister, so she gave me the link, and I don't know. I have no words. My son is alive, and I hope we will get the truth. I hope.
I can't give you any more information to let you know that this is a false flag, other than the guys that they're trying to tell you right now are the men, and they know they're not. They're not. You want me to show you who is the man? This man. Same guy I pointed out to you right here. That white square that we talked about only matches one backpack, and all the people that we viewed, all the people that we looked at in the crowd, matches one man, one backpack with the upper zipper, this guy. And guess what? Guess who's running out of the event with no backpack? Blackwater, Kraft, these guys. They did it. There you go. How much more proof do you need?
What do you make of Boston and that whole martial law spectacle that we saw?
Well, it's rather scary. You know me, that I always try to look on the positive things and think things can't be quite as bad. But those pictures really concern me. I mean, that is such a visual image when you see these thousands and thousands of troops, and they weren't your local friendly policemen that were involved. And it was accepted too easily. I mean, can you imagine all these people being locked? They became prisoners. And then the police, the military police, were allowed to march into any house, anytime without a search warrant. It was martial law, So I think it was very, very scary. Let's just hope it wakes up some people. But unfortunately, you still hear those, well, the government has to do something to make us safe. And I think that's where the big disconnect is what is the purpose of government? Is it to give us perfect safety and perfect economic security, or is it there to allow us to run our own lives and protect our liberties?
if everybody in the world is fighting them on every corner, and so that they know that there will be. Now, will there be abuses? There always are. Terrible abuse yesterday of a cooker, steam cooker.
Guns in the wrong hands are evil. You look at Newtown, and that was horrible, and that was obviously a gun in the wrong hand.
And we have our frame here, and we have impact here. And I think that it's incumbent upon us. First, Ventura even has to be selected. Then we need to agree of whether or not we're going to fully participate with it. You know, we had that moment of silence today for Boston. There was references to the terrorism, things like that. My son was 2 blocks away from that explosion with his wife. They lived there. And in a conversation today, they believe they're going to have leads based off of cell phone locations and the videos that were going on, what was happening at that place when it all comes together. Now, does that make me feel warm and fuzzy? It does in this case, because somebody did something horrific. But they're not coming after you, Mr. Pfeiffer. They're not coming after you, Mr. Nelson. They're coming after someone who did something actually really terrible there.
You guys are cool. You guys are cool. Keep up the fight.
Right on, man. You too.
Have a great day. In 30 years, when China invades us, we'll be fighting together.
Right on, brother.
Take it easy, buddy.
Take care, man.
I'm worried how far this is going to take away our civil rights, because people are going to say, oh, now we need to have drones in every sky, and we could have caught him so much easier if we had drones canvassing the neighborhood.
In Wilmot, Ohio, on our line for Republicans. Kurt, you're on the Washington Journal.
Good morning. Yeah, I'm pretty much in agreement with what was previously just said. All anyone has to do is, anybody who's out there listening, take a look and Google up Operations Gladio, Operations Northwoods. And I was watching InfoWars.com just as this was beginning, and within about 3 minutes after them exposing all of the Navy SEALs who were standing at the finish line, within about 2 or 3 minutes, Fox and CNN both started to change their stories.
On Twitter, we've got this tweet from Don Ritchie, who writes, "When did we vote to give police the authority to shut down a metro area and lock millions in their homes to catch one criminal?"